President Kennedy was a big fan of Cuban cigars, especially H. Upmann. Petit Coronas were his favorite size. A cold afternoon in Washington in February of 1962, he instructed his press secretary, Pierre Salinger, to buy him 1,200 of his favorite Cuban stogies. And the next day at 8 a.m., with the sought-after treasure safely in his keeping, he took out his presidential pen and he signed the executive order that became the first version of the U.S. blockade against Cuba. Well, the blockade has evolved during these 60 years. The Torricelli Law of 1992 internationalized it by giving Washington allegedly legal jurisdiction to sanction subsidiaries of U.S. companies abroad if they dared to do business with Cuba. Later, the law known as Helms-Burton strengthened the blockade's extraterritorial reach as well as attempting to codify its precepts. The purpose of Helms-Burton is to generate a chilling effect on foreign investment in Cuba by raising the possibility that foreign businesses can be sued in U.S. courts, usually in Miami, if they have engaged in business with companies that Cuba previously nationalized. The blockade's reason for being has always been to destroy Cuba's revolutionary government through force or hunger, in order to impose on the island a transitional government that would eventually turn the island into yet another U.S. colony. The blockade and its myriad of regulations violate the rights of U.S. citizens who are prohibited from traveling or doing business with Cuba. It also violates international law and the rights of the Cuban people who Washington strives to strangle through the blockade. Specifically, the blockade violates the 1948 Geneva Accords against genocide and other resolutions and legal instruments basic to international law. In other words, the blockade is illegal. The U.S. knows it and the world knows it as well. That's why year after year, the world votes almost unanimously to condemn and demand an end to the blockade. Obama said before leaving office that the embargo is outdated and should be lifted. But the world knows that the blockade is illegal, not outdated, and that Washington should never have imposed it on Cuba. I hope that the people of the United States will wake up. Meanwhile, I'm sure that Cuba will continue to resist. Thank you for your time.